Everybody, we are back here again for another fountain pen review. Um, as always, we're going to follow the same structure: the introduction, the parts of the pen, the writing sample, and the ratings of the pen. Now, I want to try and make the videos themselves a little bit shorter because I know that longer videos can tend to get a little bit boring, and I know that I kind of have a tendency to ramble. So I'm going to make them as short as I can, so that the viewer can enjoy them a little bit more. So I'm going to go straight ahead with it. Now, this is the pen we're going to be reviewing today. And as it goes, we go the introduction first. This is the Cross Beverly fountain pen in a deep purple lacquer, with chrome appointments. So that's the name it's advertised under on Amazon. I didn't get this pen on Amazon. In fact, I got it when I was on the island of Sawyer. At least I think it's an island, not just part of Spain. I was on. It is an island on the island of Sawyer. Um, make sure it is an island because now I have it in my head that it's not, and if it isn't, we have problems. I don't know my geography very well, so note to self: check that. Is Sawyer an island? I think it is. Is it? I don't know. All right. So as I said, I myself bought this pen in Sawyer in a shopping centre there, which had a lovely little fountain pen section in the middle of the room itself. It had a lot of very beautiful pens. It had a lot of Cross pens, a lot of Mont Blanc, it had a lot of Faber-Castell emotions. There was every single type there as well. That was very interesting. But I chose this one because it was the cheapest there, and I didn't want to be bringing a very expensive pen home, knowing that possibly I could get it cheaper on the internet. So that's how I got it. I'm going to leave the pen to the side for a second. This is the box it came in. I didn't bother with the covering of the box itself because the covering is just says Cross. It's the same material here, just covers it. This is the box it came in. It has the cross ribbon. It has the two bands that hold it in the center. It has a cushion. Now, this box opens like so, and inside it were a series of Cross cartridges that only Cross will take. They're tapered cartridges. I don't know why Cross does it. They're quite nice. They last a while, but anyway, that's where they were. I think it came with about 3 or 4 of them. At this stage now, they've all gone into the general cartridge box behind me. You can't see it, but it is back there. It's just a mound of cartridges and converters and ink bottles and everything. So that's the box. That's all there is to that one. Moving swiftly along to the pen. Now this, as I've said, is the Cross Beverly fountain pen in a deep purple lacquer. You can see it there. You can see the natural light reflects it. And it has chrome appointments. Now, this pen is advertised on Amazon for $24.95, which is quite low for a Cross pen, very, very low in fact, and it translates roughly into about €22.47, €22.27, and in pounds, if I can read my writing here, the pen skipped £15.84. So that's the introduction. We go straight on to the parts of the pen. So we have our cap, we have the nib, the section, the barrel, and of course the cross cartridge. Alright, so I'm going to start as always with the cap. Now the cap is rounded at the top. It's very reflective, as you can see. You can see the actual desk in the reflection. Towards the top of the cap is this section here, and it does have texture. They're very small little indentations that wrap around the top of the cap. Then you have the cross clip, which says Cross down here. You can see it. The clip is very, very tight, too tight to kind of put on, if not for this feature here, the curve up on the nib itself, on the clip itself. What that does is, even though the clip is very, very tight, it provides a guide for the shirt pocket so that the shirt pocket can slip underneath the very, very tight part of the clip and go straight up. So that provides a guide for the shirt pocket, for the actual shirt material itself, which means that this pen can actually be tucked into the, I don't have one here at the moment because it's just t-shirt, into the shirt pocket theoretically if there wasn't here very easily. The entire cap itself tapers to the bottom of the cap, goes from quite narrow to fairly large. You have a silver ring. Inside is white, which is quite odd for I've never seen that before. And then that's everything to do with the cap. Moving on to the barrel, at the bottom of the barrel we have another very reflective feature. You can just about see the just about make out shapes and things like that. It's just smaller surface. This reflective metal carries on down the barrel to about here where it stops. Then you have the purple lacquer, as I forgot to mention, the purple lacquer on the cap as well. So the silver continues down to here until it turns into the purple lacquer. The entire barrel is tapered as well. It's fairly large here and becomes smaller towards the back. And then at the section where at the part of the barrel where the section meets the barrel itself, you have this feature again with the very small silver indentations. Inside the cap, it's not white, it's just black metal. And inside the barrel, it's black metal. Moving on to the nib, this is a medium nib. It's just steel. It's a medium. It's a cross nib. It's one of those nibs that is kind of if you can see, it has a very odd design to it. There are almost like ripples on the nib itself, only for a small section of the nib, and then the rest is just polished steel. Try and get it up as close as I can. My camera won't focus. Then you have the section which is also tapered. It's made out of the same material, I'm assuming, as the nib. There's the feed as well. It has the end of the section. There's a very nice ledge. It doesn't work like the Woodchucks pen that I have in this box that I did a review on. So if you happen to look at that video, I'd say you'll be very pleased with the actual pen itself. It's a beautiful pen. Moving farther down again, there's just the threads that are used to screw the barrel onto the section. I thought there was somebody in the house. Anyway, so again, the section tapers. It's quite comfortable for your hand. Your fingers seem to slip down towards the bottom, which is no problem because the ledge itself that stops your fingers from slipping onto the nib is not too severe. It's very subtle. It can get a little bit slippy, but that's about it. The pen came with a series of Cross cartridges. This is just Cross blue ink, and that's what they came with. Okay, so that's the parts of the pen. I'll just screw it back together and we get onto our writing sample. Now then, this pen is very good for writing, as are a lot of Cross pens, because I'm not even going to give it a chance to start up on the helper pad, as I've dubbed it, over here, with all my information that I have here that I say after the review. I'm not even going to afford it that luxury. I'm just going to start writing. I haven't written with this pen for a long time, purposely for this video to see the quality of the writing itself. So I'm going to go straight ahead with the writing sample. As always, we have the chosen pangram, the chosen quote, and our signature, which, as always, is John Smith, the famous John Smith. So the chosen pangram, as always, is a quick movement, and it has started up perfectly right away. Just goes to show the quality of these nibs. By the enemy will jeopardize 6 gunboats. And there's our chosen pangram. Again, my computer flips the image, but you can get the general gist of the writing. The pen starts up straight away. Cross ink is quite nice, very practical, nothing, no great flair to it, but it's very nice at the same time. Pen started up with no problem. Our chosen quote for today is, you can never cross, you can never cross, see what I did there? Cross pen. Never cross, I just thought of that now actually. Cross the ocean until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. And there's our quote. As always, we have our John Smith signature. The famous John Smith. Pen does not skip once. It allows me to drag it. It doesn't give out when I drag it across the page. It doesn't skip. It is a little bit scratchy when you don't hold it at the right angle. And that's something about cross pens I need to mention actually. Cross pens, though they are fantastic, you need to hold them at a certain angle so that they can write to their optimum potential. So if you hold it, for example, even if you do hold it like this, straight down on the page, it still writes, but it will be very scratchy and very tough to write with. It'll still write, still put down a perfectly normal layer of ink, but cross fountain pens have to be held at a specific angle so as to get the best out of them. So there's our writing sample. We have, as always, the chosen pangram, our chosen quote, and our chosen signature. This cross pen is fantastic for the money paid. It does not skip at all. It is a really, really beautiful pen. The amount of ink it lays down is just right. Cross ink dries very quickly. It's very practical ink. And that's something Cross as a brand is very much geared towards, is being a practical pen instead of being a pen like Visconti or Yardley or something like that. They're very much geared towards everyday functional pens, and therefore they have ink that dries very quickly and is very practical, along with very practical pens, very simple, nice, basic, impressive, I might say, impressive design as well. So that's the writing sample. We've done the introduction, the parts, and we've done the writing sample. So now we go straight ahead to the ratings. Now, I actually really like this pen simply because this pen is the pen that I found myself using more and more often every single day. So for the writing experience, I've given it a 9. For writing comfort, I've given it a 9. For capacity and ink usage, as this pen does not burn through a lot of ink very fast and is very good for that, I've given it a 9 also. And for design, I've given it a 10 because I just simply love this design. And the cap itself, I don't know if you can see, but the barrel gets wider and then the cap gets narrower. And I think that's just a lovely design where the barrel becomes wider until the cap, and then the cap becomes narrower. I think it just gives a lovely shape to the pen. It's a fantastic pen for everyday usage because it's not too ostentatious like a Visconti pen. Like a Visconti, I don't know, opera club, for example, that'll be very ostentatious, could draw a lot of attention. This pen can be whipped out, it'll catch people's eye, but it won't catch people's eye in such a way that everyone has to stop and say, my God, what a ridiculous pen. This is a classy pen that can be used for everyday use. I definitely recommend it if you just want a pen that looks good and does not cause a fuss. Too much of a fuss anyway. We all like for our pens to cause a little bit of a fuss, but not too much. And I think this pen has just got it exactly right. For the price, it is definitely a good buy. So that's the pen. This, as I've said before, is the Cross Beverly fountain pen in a deep purple lacquer, and with chrome appointments. It also comes in a white colour, but I prefer the purple itself. I don't like white pens. So that's the pen. If you like it, go buy it. Subscribe to the channel if you want. Drop us a comment if you have any questions or any ideas as to how to improve the videos. And that's it. I'll see you later. Bye bye.